happening in Trump's world right now over impeachment articles. But here's the thing that's wild about this situation. These aren't just some crazy Democrats trying to get headlines anymore. We're talking about actual formal articles of impeachment being filed in the House of Representatives, one after another, with specific charges and constitutional arguments that are starting to make people wake up and pay attention. And the Trump people, they're panicking. I'm watching them panic, and I'm not even trying to laugh, but I'm laughing, because when you're this defensive about something, when you're this aggressive in your denials, it usually means something's really bothering you. Let me set the scene here so you understand exactly what's going on. Back in April, just a few months ago, Michigan Congressman Deniro, a real member of Congress, not some celebrity or media personality, he goes on the House floor and he files seven articles of impeachment against Donald Trump, 7 formal charges. We're talking about obstruction of justice, usurpation of congressional authority, abuse of emergency powers, violations of First Amendment rights, creation of unlawful offices like the Department of Government Efficiency, and bribery and corruption charges. This is comprehensive. This is detailed. This is not some throwaway political stunt by a backbench representative. Deniro's looking directly at Trump and saying, you know what? You're unfit to serve as president. You represent a clear and present danger to our Constitution and our democracy. Now, at first, the Democratic leadership kind of pretended this wasn't happening. They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to engage with it. But here's where it gets interesting. Less than a month later, Houston Congressman Al Green, who's got a whole history of this stuff, who literally heckled Trump during a joint address to Congress and got himself removed and censured by his colleagues. This guy files his own impeachment articles. And then later in November, Al Green announces he's going to file more articles of impeachment, specifically pledging to do it before Christmas. Before Christmas, we're living through a moment where multiple sitting members of Congress are independently deciding that impeachment is necessary before the president leaves for the holidays. That tells you something about where we are as a country right now. So what happens after this? Well, the Trump administration goes ballistic. They're sending out statements saying every action Trump takes is lawful and rooted in the will of the American people. They're calling these impeachment efforts desperate political stunts that the American people see right through. But here's the thing that gets me. They're not actually defending Trump on the merits. They're not saying, no, he didn't do these things. They're just attacking the people filing the articles and saying it's all political theater. When you can't defend what you actually did, you attack the people doing the criticizing. That's basic stuff, but it works on a lot of people, but not all people. Some people are paying attention like you're doing right now. The most interesting part of all this to me is what happened with Deniro. After he filed those 7 articles, he comes under enormous pressure from Democratic leadership. They're calling him up. They're talking to him behind closed doors. And pretty soon, Deniro pulls back. He says he wants to add more articles, get more input from colleagues. But basically, he backs off from forcing a vote. The Democratic leadership made it clear to him, we don't want this right now. We're worried it's going to hurt us politically. We got other things we want to focus on. So Deniro steps back. But the very fact that Democratic leaders had to pressure him to pull back shows you that there are real members of Congress, including a guy who was just elected, a brand new member, who genuinely believe Trump has committed offenses that warrant removal from office. Now, the thing about Al Green is he's different. He's got a history of going his own way. He doesn't care what the leadership says. He got censured by Congress after heckling Trump, but he became a hero to a lot of Democrats for doing it. So when Green decides he's filing impeachment articles, and then he decides he's going to file more articles before Christmas, he's serious. He's not taking orders. He's not afraid of the political fallout. He's looking at Trump and he's saying, this is an authoritarian. This is a threat to democracy. We need to do something about it. And what's wild is that more than 500,000 Americans signed a petition